was the 1990s, a big show in a small town off I-75 in Georgia. They were called the biggest cocks in the henhouse. But things have changed since then. It's been 30 years, and they finally found a home here, like everyone else, doing a podcast. It's Erica and Mark, the phone call podcast thing.
Hello, who's this?
I'm just trying to locate Carmen Sandiego. Where is she now?
Well, first of all, who is this and why do you sound so much better? Who is this sexy man in my headphones?
I got a big black thing here. See that?
Yeah. Look at that. Oh, Mark just held it right up to the FaceTime camera for me. He's got a, what is that, a Telefunken U47? Google it. It's like a giant black...
Yeah, exactly.
Austin Powers jokes coming to mind here. Looks like a huge tallywhacker. A huge wang.
Speaking of which, there was I got to sidebar this because this made me think of this. It was so cool. Apparently, it was one of the things. I don't know if it was one of the apps. Like, what's the name of that app that you said that I need to be on, but I don't have?
You need to be on?
Besides all of them? Yeah,
all of them. Yeah, well, Facebook, there's Reddit, there's Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. A few years back, Instagram came out with this filter. I don't know if this was DEI recommended or, oops, we shouldn't have done this. But it was where you could take a picture of yourself, and then you could see what you would look like as a African American.
Oh, I would love to do that.
Male or female.
Oh, I would totally love to do that.
And I don't know if they still exist or not because apparently I think it was like people like had a cowl because of the whole blackface issue and all that, which I get because that was a bad time back then.
Was it? I guess, yeah.
But I mean, back when they wouldn't pay them and they would just put blackface on and then do comedy skits on them, you know what I mean? It was a little heavy for. I don't think satire was accepted back then.
No, it wasn't. Hey, I'm a little scared that you don't have your recording device configured correctly, and we're going to have to redo this whole thing because you sound so good.
Oh,
you sure you have it configured correctly?
Yes, I did. It'd be scary for me. I pulled it up and getting my wave files nice and even for a change. I'm even moving around like I like to do.
Yeah,
and it's perfect. So,
I'm also on a different microphone because I'm still in Nashville.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
That's where Carmen is. Okay, I was wondering if you were still there or where you were today.
I just didn't want to go back to Florida, so it's week 2 or 3, I forget, in Nashville now. I don't know. I feel like kind of a nomad or a squatter in this house. Should probably leave.
You probably feel like more of a squatter in your own home.
Yeah, I haven't been there much. There's too many hurricanes in Florida. I don't like it.
Yeah. So let me quickly finish my story because I want to get. Sidetracked.
Yeah, I'm blown away by your microphone. I gotta.
No.
Okay, deep breath. I'm gonna take some water. And
as a black man,
yeah,
unbelievably handsome. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I'm a 5, maybe on a good day a 6.
You think you're a 5?
Life.
You think you're a 5?
Yeah, I think I'm a 5.
All right.
I think I'm average.
Okay.
Oh, you don't think so?
I don't have any opinion.
Yeah, you do. Well, you can call me what
no,
you think.
Man. No, I want to know more about you as a black man. I'm much more interested in Jungle Fever.
As a black man, I was a solid 7.5, 8.
Now, were you bald or did you have a fro? What's going on?
A smooth brother, very low, because my hair is cut short, I guess. They had it cut short, had a nice fade to it, had a little bit of facial hair. Very handsome. Very handsome.
I've never said this out loud before to anybody. I'm just going to tell you, though, so no one else knows. I prefer my black men bald. I don't know what it is.
Do you?
I like them bald.
Yeah, it was no bald, but it was like I could. Man, why can't I look this cool now? Why?
Instead of like a senior citizen skate punk. Kind of what he looks like.
Yes.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a Well, you know I'm a poser.
Yeah, you look like a guy who should have a skateboard underneath of his acid wash jean jacket. With that haircut you got.
But the one thing I'm doing, though, and you'll be proud of me because this is something that was very hard for you to understand and do, is as I go through my closet, if I put something on and I go, this is no longer, well, it was really never, but definitely not age appropriate. You're trying too hard, old fart man.
Yep.
It goes to Goodwill.
See, we had that talk back in my early days of being transgender, and the best way to not have someone point at you or read you, as they say in the business, was to dress your age. Don't be 48 years old and walking around the mall in a short red dress with 6-inch high heels, which some people do.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
I've seen some people that are way dress way younger than they are.
Yeah, I tend to dress down. I tend to dress. I like yoga pants because they're comfortable, and I'm kind of fat now in my old age, and t-shirts which are comfortable, or just regular tops from the TJ Maxx or the Target, or if I want to get fancy, I'll go to Nordstrom's.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nordstrom, that's a high dollar there.
It is. I don't go there much. Dress your age. Be age appropriate, and you'll be invisible just like every other woman my age, which is largely what has happened to me.
Yeah, it's. I noticed there was a few things that I had, and it takes me a little longer than it should.
Like what? Like a Cure T-shirt? What? What are you wearing?
No. Like the last thing I put in my bag, Goodwill bag, is I build it up. I wait till it's worth driving down there to give it all the stuff.
Yeah.
So it takes me about a month or two to go through my stuff, and I usually shed about 2 or 3 times a year.
So tell me what you got rid of that I will laugh at.
Well, the latest one I got rid of was a pair of black jeans that had a rip at the knee.
Oh, that's sexy. Now, see, I still wear jeans with rips in the knees. Am I getting too old for that?
I don't know. I don't know what it looks like on you, but I just felt like I wore it when I went to go see you.
My 22-year-old daughter made me buy them, so I'm going to have to trust her.
I was wearing a pair of black jeans with a rip in the knee, and then I had a distressed T-shirt, and I wore the same outfit to Morrissey, and I felt like, oh,
what am I doing here?
I'm trying way too hard. I did look better than everybody there. I'm going to tell you something about Alabama. Listen, if you're listening to us from Alabama, maybe I'm wrong, but when you go to a Morrissey show, there's a lot of homosexuals at that show. Okay. Right? And then there's a lot of, I would say, like posers like me. Okay?
Posers and homos. That's probably a band name.
Hold on to that, by the way. I got a band name things for you, too. That's part of the show, too. But it was like, I walked in there, and I'm going to tell you, rednecks, no matter what they are always going to be rednecks.
Yes,
I seen more mullets at a Morrissey show than I probably more than I would have seen in the 80s.
Well, see, something about Alabama is the mullet never went out of style in Alabama. So it's not really bad. That's just what they do there.
And the T-shirts with the sleeves ripped off.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Larry the Cable Guy. They're just discovering Larry the Cable Guy in Birmingham. He just got there. They're a little behind, kind of like Australia.
I was laughing. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. I am like the best dressed person here. How is this possible?
Yeah, it's possible.
My wife and I, we look like we came out of a magazine.
Yeah, the mullets were all thinking, them two got money. Look at how they dress.
We need to roll them.
Yeah. I should have given you one of my fake Rolexes.
Yeah, that's all I would have put it right over the top.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. It's like I said, everywhere I went, they were always dressed like it's 1980. But not in a good way.
No,
not
because
with the colors and the
because
pops
it
of
still
color
is
and all
1980. You know why? Because 1980 was only 15 years after they had to deal with civil rights, and they missed those days. Seems like it was just yesterday.
I could not believe. I was like, oh my goodness, these two men that are, and they're obviously in love. They're holding hands and everything else, and they were trying to outdress each other for bad.
Wow. So
I've never seen that.
I'm trying to think of what a gay Alabama redneck looks like, and I'm
okay. Do you remember in the 80s? Let me see here. In the 70s, it was getting close, but in the 80s, they took it to a new level. Remember the high school gym shorts? How short they were?
Oh, first of all, I always liked men in short shorts. Men should still be able to wear short shorts. These cargo shorts, I'm not a fan of the cargo shorts look at all.
No, I think there's too many pockets.
So
you can't possibly have that much to carry.
Go back to the Tom Selleck Magnum PI shorts. I'm fine. Everyone, we're all fine with it.
But with a pair of shorts like that, there's a reason why they asked you to wear a jockstrap, and it wasn't for anything other than just the low hanging.
Well, it's like, oh, so you weren't circumcised. Nice to meet you, Earl.
So we have those kind of shorts,
Yeah.
and then the t-shirts with the sleeves not cut. That won't probably cut, but definitely not stitched back up.
So do they cut them like a tank top, or do they cut them right to the edge of where the stitching is?
Like when they were before they got to the show, they were probably at their truck over by the riverbed, throwing each other in the water.
Yeah, let's go with that.
It's like any other good one. We've been in the South long enough to know exactly what we're talking about. Now I'm understanding why I never really fit in Mississippi and Georgia and all that.
Because you're not gay enough. Is that why?
It's just amazing that no matter who you are and what you are, you dress the same way there.
Yeah. Did you when you were living in Mississippi? Did you ever hear this sound? Y'all.
No.
No. Okay. Just making sure. just making sure.
Do I want to even know what that is?
I think you know.
I've heard y'all.
I think you know. I think you know what is.
I hope not.
Should we start this phone call show at some point? What do you want to talk about today? Because I want to talk about something that I watched on YouTube all morning.
Okay, well, is it a long story or is it a 5-minute story?
It is about the congressional hearings that they had on UAPs this morning.
Oh, let's take a quick break and we'll come back to that.
All right.
Erica and Mark. The phone call.
All right, so this morning, so I'm surprised you didn't watch this. There was a congressional hearing that was packed full of people, bipartisan, Democrats, Republicans, all questioning people, these experts about these spacecraft. Apparently, there's been a lot more of these Tic Tacs and UFOs, as that are now called UAPs, that have been screwing with our airplanes, our military planes, for a long time. There was one story of a pilot saying, "It's like, yeah, this thing was the size of a car, and it was 6 feet from my canopy, and I was supersonic." And it's something that no one can really talk about because of whatever reason. And the whole point of the hearing is, why do we have this stuff all classified? Why can't we just talk about it? If it's older than 15 years old, if there's a sighting or an incident that took place that's more than 15 years ago, one of the senators said, "I've read all this stuff and heard all this stuff. Why can't we just talk about it? Because it's not scary. People have the right to know." And nobody could really give a good answer as to why that is. Do you know about Langley? You know where Langley Air Force Base is, right?
No, I don't.
So Langley is a very large base in the Washington D.C. metro area. It's very secretive, but they had a whole week there recently where they had swarms of what looked like drones, but they were as big as cars, unidentified objects hovering and flying around their base that nobody knew what they were. They don't belong to us. And it wasn't just one night. It's like they were screwing with them. You haven't heard about that either, huh?
No.
Yeah, they couldn't really give too many details about that, but I'd heard about that before. It's all over YouTube.
How long ago was this, though? How long ago was this?
When did that happen? Hold on, let me look. Actually, I actually had that open in a browser here.
Unfortunately, the stuff that comes through my funnel here is more conspiracy oriented, and I keep hearing that we're going to hear more and more about this stuff because it's part of the Great Reset.
And
you have to have a boogeyman, in order to have a savior.
I've heard the millennials and the Gen Z talking about the Great Reset for a long time, and I have yet to hear anything else or see any real evidence of the Great Reset happening. And the only way that happens is, now that I think about it, is if they somehow let the cat out of the bag about this unlimited source of energy that apparently is all around us that we can just tap into, and a little device the size of a basketball can run an entire city efficiently, cleanly, silently, for infinity. And that would put all the oil companies out of business. And I'm not sure those people want to be poor.
No, it's a money grab. That all this stuff's a money grab.
Right.
I get that. So.
Yeah. So when you're investigating or looking into this stuff, start with this in mind. Follow the money. Why does somebody want to keep this secret? Why does somebody not want us to know about this? Follow the money. Somebody invented a water-powered car back in the 40s or 50s, and then they mysteriously had a heart attack and died. And then it happens again in the 60s and 70s. Fatal car crash. Oh, they had a heart attack. People try to file patents for things that are, that will make your current vehicle get 400 miles to the gallon. And, they had a heart attack.
I know that's the worst thing you can do is tell people that you have tell the government you have something.
Right.
Seriously.
The worst thing.
I mean it. I'm serious.
But see, this is what these inventors do. These inventors are they're kind of eccentric and maybe a little crazy because that's what they're really, they're really smart, and they get an ego about it. And like, nobody's figured out what I figured. Well, it turns out you stumbled onto something somebody did 30 years ago that they got killed for, and you're next. And they don't care. Wow. They don't think it can happen to them. But anyway, here, I just found it. The incursions of mystery drones over Langley Air Force Base in Virginia was first reported back in March. And there was a lot of questions about, who flew them, how did the military respond, and how are they going to respond to stuff like that in the future? Were these just drones or were they something else? But it certainly seems to appear that they didn't belong to us. They didn't have anything to do. Nobody in the military could take ownership of what that was, and it doesn't appear to be from a foreign government. They don't know where it's from. It says here there was a whistleblower who said the only thing I can tell you is roughly about the number of them and roughly the altitude. And, here, Major Air Force General Mark Kelly told the Wall Street Journal that at least one of the drones was about 20 feet long, flying at more than 100 miles an hour at an altitude of roughly 3,000 to 4,000 feet. Many other drones followed one by one, and it sounded in the distance like a parade of lawnmowers. So we don't know if these were drones that were operated by somebody or a group of people, or if they were something else, but they could have been launched from something just off the coast. They could have come from somewhere in the mountains. They don't know where they came from, and it happened on more than one occasion in a very short period of time. So this is just one of many things that nobody seems to want to talk about. But the hearing today, I would encourage you to go back. I watched it on the AP. You can probably find it on C-SPAN. And just go back and watch the hearing. Just watch it unedited. It's probably 2.5 hours long. And it's probably some stuff you've heard before. But there's some stuff you haven't heard before. I guarantee that is in there.
Well, I know they've been bringing it up a lot in the last few years. You've been seeing more stories about them, and they're talking more openly about them, which usually means they're setting up time to talk about something.
Yeah. So here's something from the USA Today from about an hour ago, and it says a new slate of witnesses provided fresh testimony to Congress on UFO sightings and what the government may or may not know about them, and They had 5 witnesses that were providing their testimony. I think there were 6. There was another guy who came in right at the end, right as everybody was leaving, but they held the meeting and kept it late. And the usual people were there. The guy from the Pentagon that I don't trust, that Jeremy Corbell guy who was working with the To the Stars Academy guy, Tom DeLonge from Blink 182. Not sure if I trust him. He used to work in the Pentagon as a disinformation officer, and who's to say he's not still doing that?
Oh, yeah.
But there was also a retired Navy Rear Admiral, Timothy Gaudet or Gaudelet. I don't remember what he was. Are talking about this guy who talked about a military exercise taking place off the East Coast back in 2015, and there were multiple near midair collisions with FA-18s, and a now declassified video that we've all seen captured by an FA-18 pilot. Elizondo is the guy who was there. He came out and stated that it appears we're not alone in the cosmos, and the more questions that were asked of him by these members of Congress, the more he could say, I can't really elaborate on that question, but I do have an answer. And if you'd like to have a closed session, I can certainly elaborate more on that for you, because he's, still got clearance and he can't say what he knows in public yet because he hasn't been given permission to. But NASA came up a lot today, too. And a lot of people look at NASA as, oh, they're the ones with the astronauts who went to the moon and they had the space shuttles. And NASA, I trust NASA less than I trust the CIA, is how sneaky NASA is. And NASA knows a lot. And they tried to call out NASA a little bit today about the stuff that NASA's been sitting on that they, of course, won't even acknowledge exists. But if they did, it would make a powerful statement to the scientific community that this kind of UAP research should be taken seriously. And, these are not just drones or weather events or, people's imagination or swamp gas. These are real. These are real things. And the American public, though, doesn't seem to care because this has happened before. We've had congressional hearings.
It's weird that it seems like we don't. Well, they put things on C-SPAN that way they're open, but nobody ever watches that show. I like it because it's just a camera and it's just rolling, and it's a microphone there, so you can't sound bite them to death. They can't. Everybody's worried about when the guys come out and they say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And they smile and they say some bullcrap that's going to help sell their whatever they're trying to sell.
Right.
But that camera, that's what I like about C-SPAN, is it's wide open.
So there's a news organization called News Nation. Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of, frankly, disgruntled journalists who got, screwed over or told what to do from the mainstream media, and they were like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. And News Nation kind of bills itself as a bastion of just the facts and just the truth. They're not really opinion based. They're there to give you the facts, kind of like Walter Cronkite did back in your day. And they've got some very good reporters there, and I would be curious. You know what? I'm going to go to their website right now and see what they're saying about today's hearing entitled "Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Exposing the Truth" was the name of the hearing. And there was a representative from South Carolina, Republican Nancy Mace. She was in charge of the whole thing and laid out the goals about finding out the extent of the Pentagon programs, how deep they go. And, they kind of alluded to the fact that there's a large parent, like a parent department, and the name of that escapes me right now. Hang on a second. It's got some crazy name. I saved it on my phone. It's called no, it's not. That's not it. It's called Immaculate Constellation. And that's kind of the parent program that our government has that works with all the other like they have UFO crash retrieval teams, and they have technology teams that work with private industry. And the private industry seems to be where all this stuff is. It doesn't seem like the government is really in charge of any of these crashed or captured alien craft or beings, because Northrop Grumman and Boeing and all of these other subcontractors for the government are the ones who are keeping it. And there's billions and hundreds of billions of dollars going to these programs, and Congress wants to know where it's going because that's taxpayer money. We have the right to know where that's going. And if these things don't exist, well, I guess you don't need the money then, do you? Is what they were saying. So follow the money. And,
nice.
Yeah, and the only theories that I've heard and have about why the government's not in charge of it, why it's all these private companies, is because our government's kind of stupid, and they're kind of like a colander with a lot of leaks because they don't pay these people a lot of money in many cases
Right.
working for the government. But if you can pawn this stuff off on the private sector can do many things the government can't do. They can give you contracts with non-disclosure. They can make you agree to have cameras all over your house and 24-hour surveillance of you and your family and your friends. They can put microphones in your bathroom and in your car, and make you sign a waiver that says, we know that, and they pay you a lot of money for this as you study this technology. And that serves a lot of purposes where they could just lock you up if they even think that you've violated this NDA. They turn you over to the government and let them throw you away. But see, these are things that our government can't do. If the government had a program like this that was run by the government, you couldn't really do all these things because at some point somebody would find out about it and you'd be in trouble. And the other thing that you can do is to make sure that China and Russia doesn't, get a hold of anything that we know, is you just pay these people really well. If you make them rich, they're not incentivized to sell this stuff to China for millions of dollars. They already have millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So why risk all their freedom and their millions of dollars for nothing? So it seems
That's
like
wild.
it's a pretty good little plan. But yeah, go to YouTube later, and I watched it on the Associated Press YouTube channel, so it should be right at the top of the list for the AP. And they just streamed it. They didn't have any commentary.
Did it happen today?
Yeah, it was today. As we record this, it's Wednesday, November 13th. So this airs 1st of December probably.
Yeah, we're about 2 weeks ahead.
Oh,
So,
2 weeks
yeah,
ahead. Okay,
about-
so this is
not
probably
that
right
bad.
after. This is probably Black Friday today, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Gotcha. Well, anyway, go watch that. I would encourage everybody to go watch that and sit through it. It's a little long, and it's it's a lot of thank you for recognizing me at the blah blah blah. If you can get through all the thank yous and all the pomp and circumstance, there's some real information in there that raises a lot more questions than it gives answers.
So there were some people trying to tap dance, but they said, well, maybe we need to pull the money, and then they would start talking.
Well, that was kind of what they said at the end was, we need to know what this stuff is because all of our government money is going to this. So tell us where it's going, because it's our money. And if you can't tell us, well then, if we cut off your funding, what's going to happen? And nobody wants their funding cut. Nobody wants their funding cut off. So when you start messing with their money, maybe you'll get some answers. And they had a senator or congressman who came out and said, look, I've seen a lot of this stuff. And in the past, there's been an argument that you can't release this stuff because it would mess with society or mess with people's heads, or, too much of this would, and would help our enemies. And he said, and I just don't see how that's going to happen with the things that I know. And if we just released all this stuff from 15 years ago and older, from way in the past, it's not going to do any damage to our national security. It's going to answer a lot of questions because people need to know. People just, deserve to know. But there's a lot of people just trying to keep a lid on this for whatever reason. And that's what the mystery is. Why do you want to keep this all to yourself?
It's interesting how there's so many people done, especially has to do with the government and any big company at all. Period. Is that the transparency is not a thing. And
No,
it's sad because
and I understand the need for secrecy and the need for to keep knowledge out of our enemies' hands. The Chinese announced that they have a new 5th or 6th generation fighter called the White Emperor. And, it's got these canards on the front of it like you would see on the front of a Corvette race car. And it's like, well, how is that going to be stealthy? The radar is going to bounce all. What are the Chinese doing? They're and they're saying that we have 5th generation airplanes. Now they're saying that they have a 6th generation airplane. And that's simply not true because we haven't told them what is in our 5th generation airplane yet. So how could they possibly make something that they haven't been able to steal from us yet? Because that's what they do. They just steal everything from everybody. Then they make it themselves, but they make it worse. I mean, better in their eyes.
Well, they sell it through Temu.
Yeah, right. Yes, we have made a new.
Temu.
We have made a new fighter plane, America. Oh, did you get that from Wish? We did not get it from Wish. Why do you talk to us like this? Well, it sure looks like you got it from Wish. It looks like you stole it from us and got it from Wish. That's what the Chinese Air Force and military looks like, a bunch of poorly copied, stolen things. But anyway,
I'm surprised they haven't jumped to the what do you call it? Those copy machines that what do you call those things now? That ones that they can make guns and everything else with now.
Oh, 3D printing machines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody should have a 3D printer, by the way.
Move to that, the 3D printer, make yourself a jet.
Hey, you're an old guy.
7th generation.
That should be a new hobby for you since you're old. Is get yourself a 3D printer and start making stuff. Because in the past, people your age would. What do you do when you get old? Do you whittle? Do you make furniture? What do you guys do? I'm genuinely curious. What do you do?
Could you imagine that? That'd be funny. That would be in your shed out in the back or your back garage. Where I got some handiwork to do.
Honey, it's time to come in for dinner. Are you whittling out there? No, I'm 3D printing a Glock 19. Leave me alone, woman. And if the feds knock on the door, tell them to fuck off.
I know. What a hobby that would be.
Yeah. Now I'm getting ideas for my retirement if I can ever afford to retire. Yeah. All right, yeah. Let's take a break while I think of some new ideas I can do to retire that I could get in trouble with.
Erica and Mark. The phone call.
We haven't done a band name update from my phone.
No.
For a while. Yeah, this is going to probably get us the explicit on our podcast for today.
Well, I always put that in anyway, just for your GDs alone. I have to put explicit.
I've really been trying not to swear. It's really hard.
Hey, you haven't dropped the F-bomb yet today.
No.
No.
Huh.
Oh, now it's going to be a mission to try to get 30 in there between now and
you know what? I'm going to make this the PG-13 to maybe rated R, like a soft R version of the band name list. So we have Dr. Lobotomy. That's a good one.
Oh, that's good.
Bloodstain. The amputated toe gazers. Yeah, there's one. Burned meat. Days,
I like that one.
Days of Pizza. How about that one? Here's one that
Days
of Pizza. Yes.
Huh. That's interesting. That's very new age.
I've been drinking while I make pizza again. Let's see what else. We have the Bedazzled Crocs. We have
gosh, that's good.
Secretive Bus. We have Bad Vatican Food. That is from Taylor. She put that one in there. Big Chicken. There's another one.
Right.
Macroplastic. Did I do that one? No, that's definitely not me. That was me. I don't know where I got that from. Jewish beer. I've been trying out different beers. I was drinking a Jewish beer. And then one of the people I work with at my Atlanta TV station came up with a couple from a poster she saw. There's she thought it should be one, but I think it should be two. Save your fork, there's pie. That should be two band names, right?
No, that's one.
You like that? That's one?
That's one. That's a jam band. Yeah, the name is as long as their songs.
Save your fork, there's pie. All right, so we'll give Leanne credit for that one. And that's
I like that one, yeah.
What do you got? What do you got for actual band names that are coming off?
Well, these are band names that some changed their names because it was supposedly too controversial, and some they just stuck it out and said, you know what, we're not changing it.
They should have consulted me. I could have helped them with new names.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, and some of these names they have dropped. The first band, they did not drop their name that we're going to talk about as we work our way up to number one. But 10cc was considered controversial at one time.
10cc because that's like it's like a drug shooting thing.
No, close though. It has something to do with measurement. It's the average size of a male ejaculation. Is what people said it was.
Yeah. Okay. So All right. So they were going to change it to painting the Hawaiian Islands on your back, but that was too long.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that makes more sense. 10 cc's better. I did not know that.
Pearl necklace. You could have called it Pearl Necklace.
That's a ZZ Top song, though, off of
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They don't want to be messing with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the band said no, it wasn't, and they're not changing their name,
Huh.
and that was the end of that. So it was pretty. At least some of these guys didn't just.
Oh, I know a good one, but go ahead. I'll do you want to hear mine, or this has to be on the
go
list? Brian and I were just talking about this. They were listening to Steely Dan in the car, and he didn't know where Steely Dan got their name from. Do you? Is it on the list?
I think I know the answer to that. I think I had something. Yes, it's number 9. That says it was actually more sexualized than one would think.
Yeah, would I be correct to say that Steely Dan named their band after a sex toy, a vibrator or a dildo in this case?
Yes. Yeah.
I believe that to be true.
Well, you got to remember now. Here's a bunch of nerdy musicians that were never going to get laid, even though they played music, but they were fantastic studio musicians.
Okay, here's some trivia for you, Mark. How many members are there of Steely Dan?
About 56.
No, there are 2.
Oh, just the 2 main ones.
There are just the 2, and one of them was just like a studio rat. He was just a producer in all these different recording studios, and he decided to make an album. And there's literally 2 of them. The rest of them are session musicians.
Session musicians, yeah. I remember that.
Now they did have a lot of the same people that played with Steely Dan over the years, but it was Walter Becker and Donald Fagen were the 2 guys in Steely Dan. And
Becker and Fagen.
That's it. But
I didn't know. I thought there was only 2, but I thought everybody else. That's why I said 56. It seemed like there was whenever they would go out on the road, they just bring a bunch of excellent musicians. I mean, they would pick the cream of the crop.
They met those 2 guys met in college in the 60s, and they were trying to get a band together, and they finally figured it out and made some of the best music of the 1970s. What was the first album? Can't Buy a Thrill, I think. It was either that or Ecstasy. I forget which one it was.
I can't remember if Can't Buy a Thrill came first or second, because I had that one on, what did I have? I think I had that one on a 8-track.
Of course you did.
I mean, it might have been an album, but it was old.
And kids, if you're listening and don't know what an 8-track is, please Google that or ask ChatGPT, and it will tell you. It's very interesting how an 8-track actually worked, and ChatGPT can give you the whole. Dude, I've been getting addicted to my ChatGPT. He's become my best friend.
Again?
Yeah. I mean, and when I'm having a couple of drinks and making a pizza, I'll be waiting for the pizza to cook. And one of the most fun things to do that I saw on the internet a couple of months ago, I just haven't done it enough, is you upload a picture of something, and just say, okay, like I uploaded a picture of my car, and I said, here's a picture of my car. Roast me and be unmerciful.
Oh, yeah.
And it is, man. It just I've been upload. I uploaded a picture of my face. That was humbling, and really funny.
I don't know if I have the balls for that or the leftover feelings.
Dude, I was crying laughing. It was very mean to me, and I told it to be, and I think I might have deleted it because I didn't want to read it again because it was so funny. All right, what else? Bands, band names, how they got their name.
Everybody, because anybody that my grandparents on my father's side, they had a issue with the peace sign that I used to draw when I was a kid. So, darn well they weren't too happy about a band called Kiss.
Oh, I had an aunt.
Especially when I saw them.
Yeah, I had an aunt.
They didn't understand glam rock at all.
My aunt, who is dead now, thank God, and probably in hell, was very religious, and told me that she found I wore a Kiss T-shirt to like a 4th of July picnic when I was probably 11 or 12, and she pulled me aside like by my hair, and told me that I was going to hell, and that KISS stands for Knights in Satan's Service.
Satan's Service, yeah.
I never found that to be true.
By the way, it's not true at all.
No.
It's not anywhere near to be true.
Turns out the worst thing KISS did was all their songs were about banging underage girls. It was nothing to do with Satan.
Well, some would say maybe.
I mean, I don't know.
Pedophiles. I'm sure there's a special place for them.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what it was though. I think it was.
Okay.
I think it was just.
Or
rock
were they
stars.
young too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was just rock stars being rock stars. It was consensual, wasn't it? Most of that stuff was consensual, and that was the.
Oh, back then, I think they were just that was a different time in the 60s.
That was
before my time.
yes. It's the way things were, as they say.
I thought the 70s were wild, but no, the 60s were really there. 70s was much tamer.
Yeah, all you boomers.
Next
have
one
ruined
is the Chicks.
the Chicks. The Dixie Chicks.
Yeah, when they call themselves the Chicks now because the controversy was they dropped the name Dixie.
Let me tell you something. That should have never happened, and Natalie Main should have stuck up for that name and said, "You know what?
Well,
you don't want to say it, then don't."
It was her fault anyway. She was always mouthing. This is where you gotta. They were stars in the country business.
I remember. I'm
They
not
were
a huge fan of
stars.
country music. I love the Dixie Chicks.
And I'm not a huge fan of country music, nor am I a huge fan of them. I like rockabilly, but I don't like that country that they did. But all I kept thinking to myself is, boy, if you would just shut up and sell another record, you don't have to work again. But no, but
You know that
then we moved.
They made the best FU album. See, I didn't say F. I didn't say the word. They made the best FU album in the history of FU albums when they had the big comeback album, and the guy from the Red Hot Chili Peppers drummed on there. Did you know about that?
No.
Yeah. So they kind of produced that album like a rock album. What the hell was the name of that? I'm not. What was it? What was the name of the album? Not Ready to Apologize. Oh God, what was it? Taking the Long Way. Was it Taking the Long Way? I think it was. It was and Rick Rubin produced it. The guy who did System of a Down and Johnny Cash and the Chili Peppers. Rick Rubin is
He's
genius.
He's a genius when it comes to
well,
producing.
he's the one who produced that album, and even if you don't like the Dixie Chicks, go listen to that album. There are songs on that album that will make you cry. I'm serious. There's one about it's called Silent House, and it's about it's about her mother died, and she had to go clean out her house, and her mother had memory problems and got Alzheimer's as she died, and it's one of the best songs. I'm gonna cry thinking about it. It's so good, but. They're still the Dixie Chicks. Shut up with this Chicks crap.
Yeah. And what about another country band? As we get into the top 10 here at Lady A.
Lady Antebellum. They're from Georgia.
Yes. Yeah. They dropped the Antebellum on purpose.
They're
without
from
even being
Georgia.
requested to do so. You know what that was? That's called virtual signaling, and it's just a way to make a quick buck. And get in the paper again.
So you think
That's
that
dumb.
you think they did that just?
I don't think that. They did that just because it was the moment. Yeah, I don't think no one changes their band's name on purpose. You spent a long time building these names up, and they should just come to you. Actually, any bands that are out there now that want to be successful, contact Erica.
Yeah,
and she will be more than glad to give you one of her band names. If you become popular, maybe something in there where she got to pay her like 10%.
Yeah. Hey man, I got free band names, but if you make it, I'm gonna need a piece of that.
Yes, and I think it's well worth it. How about the Sex Pistols?
Oh, I love the Sex Pistols.
Yeah, Sex Pistols supposedly had a controversial name.
Well, yeah, I mean, a Sex Pistol is another word for a tallywhacker, as they say in the UK.
Yes. They were just calling themselves dicks, what they were.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Every one of them. Even the quiet drummer was a jackass.
Yeah. I mean, they have a song called Bodies that is about a girl getting an abortion. Do you think that the Sex Pistols is the worst thing about that band? No, probably not. That is one of those perfect albums. Never mind the Bollocks. Here's the Sex Pistols. Every song is great.
Nevermind the Bollocks is fantastic.
Yes.
That's a fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Whether you like punk rock or not, go listen to that and go listen to Steve Jones learning how to play guitar while he was making that album. And he decided, you mean I can do layers? I can put guitar on top of guitar? Yes, you could do that. And he did. It sounds amazing.
The Dead Kennedys. Now, we know why that is.
First of all, Jello Biafra is an underappreciated prophet, poet, genius. You go back and just read the lyrics from any of their movies or of their albums, from Frankenchrist or from Bedtime for Democracy. You go read lyrics like, Chickenformist is a great song. Do you know any songs by the Dead Kennedys?
No.
No?
I think I may know one.
What, like Stealing People's Mail or Holiday in Cambodia?
Yeah, Holiday in Cambodia. I know that one.
That was all very based in the news. Hold on, let me pull up the lyrics here for Chickenformist. And
because when I used to play alternative music, I think it was on Thursday nights, it was on Monday nights at Penrod's.
Yeah.
Before they had opened up the basement.
Yeah.
They used to play that kind of stuff, more poppy punk. They had a guy come in and play the music, and he also played at CW Dandies too.
The Dead Kennedy. All right, here, listen to this. So this is a song that is a middle finger to the music industry, and there's a line in the middle that says, if the music's gotten boring, it's because of the people who want everyone to sound the same, who drive the bright people out of our so-called scene till all that's left is just a meaningless fad. Hardcore formulas are dog shit. Change and caring are what's real. Is this a state of mind or just another label? The joy and hope of an alternative has become its own cliche. A hairstyle's not a lifestyle. Imagine Sid Vicious at 35. And, dude, this song is like 8 minutes long. That's just parts from the first verse. In the second verse, it says, what's ripped us apart even more than drugs are the thieves and the goddamn liars, ripping people off when they share their stuff. When someone falls, are there any friends? And then this is the line that spoke to me when I was 18 years old. Harder core than thou for a year or two, then it's time to get a real job. And this is from like 1984 or 85 when this was written, or maybe 83. But Jello's a damn genius, dude. He's so just above all of us, and the stuff that he wrote 40 years ago still applies today, word for word. Changed none of it. It's amazing.
Circle Jerks. Of course, they actually did that on purpose.
I love the Circle Jerks. One of the guys from my favorite 80s movie, Repo Man, is in the Circle Jerks. Kevin is one of the band members of the Circle Jerks who were in the movie. They played like an acoustic song. Which one was it? God, now all I have is the Dead Kennedys in my head. When I have music in my head, I can't think of any other music. Does that happen to you? You can't just switch music?
Oh yeah, there's could be a band get into your head and then you can't remember anything else after that. Yeah.
Pablo Picasso was never called an asshole. That's the name of the song that the Circle Jerks did in the Repo Man movie. It's great. It's one of my favorite songs.
How about this one? The Brian Jonestown Massacre.
First of all, I love the Brian Jonestown Massacre. I have their entire 6-disc best of catalog. I have albums. I have illegally downloaded music from them. They are one of the best bands ever. Anton, I can't remember his last name. They've had probably 75 people in that band in the last 30 years. And are you familiar with the Dandy Warhols?
Yes.
So they're friends with the Dandy Warhols. They're both from Portland. And
okay.
They had kind of a frenemy thing going for years where they were, frenemies. They were kind of competing with each other, but still friends, and fighting with each other, but still friends. But they sound like a modern version of what the Rolling Stones like if they stayed on acid in the early 70s. They're great. What about Black Rebel Motorcycle Club? Are you familiar with them?
I've heard of them, but I'm not.
So the guys that are in the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club came from the Brian Jonestown Massacre.
Okay.
I'm going to send you a couple Brian Jonestown Massacre songs that are sheer poetry, that are amazing, that you will love. I don't know how they're not famous. I think it's because They were in the news about 6 months ago. They were doing a tour in Australia. And Anton, the guy who leads the band, got into a fight with one of the guitar players on stage. Started beating the shit out of him on stage, like real fighting. Not like, no, they were fighting. Then canceled the tour.
Perry Farrell and the other guy.
Way worse than the whole Perry Farrell incident, which I suspect might be fake. This was this was real, and I'm gonna make you love the Brian Jonestown Massacre.
No, you can't fake punk rock. I've seen bands that were when I was living in Orlando, where they have the chain in front of the fence and people are throwing their beer bottles and glasses at the bands.
Yeah.
And they're getting cut. The band's getting cut because the glass is breaking and going through the thing and cutting them.
I'm looking at my iTunes right now. I have 78 Brian Jonestown Massacre songs on my iTunes.
Gosh. Here's one for you. Pissed Jeans.
Pissed Jeans. I've not heard of that.
They used to be called the Hard-Ons.
I suppose one has to do something with the other.
Of course, the Butthole Surfers.
I saw the Butthole Surfers at Penrod's.
Yeah, the Butthole Surfers. They were they weren't that bad.
They were great.
They really weren't. Pepper was probably their biggest.
Look, man, nobody was more surprised that Pepper became a hit in the 90s than me, because I saw them at Penrod's Underground in Fort Lauderdale back in like 1986 or 87. And there is no way that slam dancing, loud ass, incomprehensible band could have ever had a hit. And then they had one of the biggest hits of the 90s with Pepper. Sold out.
I know that the what do they call that place? Underground?
Penrod's Underground, yeah.
Yeah, that was man. They played they had a lot of good bands there.
I saw the Circle Jerks in there too.
How about the Cherry Poppin' Daddies?
Oh, I like the Cherry Poppin' Daddies. I saw them at a Super Bowl.
And they're trying to say because of the misogynistic lyrical content.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they are great musicians, though. Man, I love the big
I used to have their I got one of their bumper stickers when I saw them at the Super Bowl in Arizona. They were playing a private party. They were playing the commissioner's party, and they were in this hangar that was all decorated like a World War II hangar with all these old World War II planes and all these like Andrew Sisters looking women walking around serving drinks, and the freaking Cherry Poppin' Daddies are playing swing music on stage. It was amazing. It was amazing. So I put their bumper sticker on my car, and it was on my 87 Honda Civic wagon for years.
There you go.
They're awesome.
Number one, ready for this? This is surprising to me, but I guess I didn't really understand why it would be considered that way. But Joy Division. Joy Division,
that's a boring-ass alternative band.
Took their name from a very dark historical reference. The name ultimately taken from the 1953 House of Dolls.
Yeah.
Written by a Holocaust survivor. So that's anything that's to do with Holocaust, you got to stay away from that.
Yeah, but it's a survivor. It's it's triumph.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I
don't know about that.
I was never.
They count that as number one.
I was never a huge fan of them. I know that I really tried to like their music too, because so many people talked about, oh, you like this band, you'll love Joy Division. And I listened, I'm like,
okay, so Joy Division became who?
Oh, what did they turn into?
I should know this.
One of them killed themselves. Is what happened.
And then of course there's New Order is part of.
Maybe that's what it was. So let me look it up here. It's one of them committed suicide. Let me see here. Curtis. Who the hell's Curtis?
He's the main singer.
Yeah, he's the one who killed himself. That explains what happened to them. And I think you're right about how Joy Division kind of turned into something else.
Yeah, they were. I know they were part of it. Was one of their things was that one band I just mentioned before. Let me see, Joy Division. See what it says there. 6%. Yeah, they were very, very depressing. They were very.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. If I don't listen to depressing music, I'll listen to country music.
I can't off the top of my head. I should know this. But
I know I
don't
should
remember
too,
what it is.
but
it's not.
you know,
It's like let me see here. It's not OMD. It's not.
Well, here, let's just.
No. I cannot remember.
Joy Division became you're right. It was New Order. So they became New Order after
New Order,
after
okay.
Ian Curtis, who was the lead singer of Joy Division, killed himself. That's right.
Yeah.
that happened a long. Man, I'd almost
based.
forgotten about that.
I think that was a '70s thing.
Yeah. It was 1980s when New Order came out. So he must have killed himself around 79 or 80, and that's how they became.
And they got a little happier after he left.
Yeah, literally left.
He was holding the band down.
Yeah, after he left the building.
Yeah.
All right, so Joy Division was cursed with a Nazi past, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I think we need to roll out of here.
It's just,
Yes,
you know
that's not
what?
my
Maybe I'm
scene.
going to go listen to some Joy Division, and because that seems to be the mood that Joy Division
Careful.
brings. Yeah, I will be careful. No, I'm in a good place. I'm going to go eat some pizza and listen to Joy
Okay,
Division.
good. Just remember, if you need a friend, you can call back. I will be here.
I will. And the next time we talk, I will be back in the 941 in the sunshine, waiting for my next hurricane.
All right. I'll talk to you next Thursday.
Have a good week, man.
Erica and Mark. The phone call.